Hello everyone, I am Victor Rodriguez from Rodriguez Construction. What is the purpose of this video? I'm not really sure. I certainly have zero intentions of creating a YouTube channel for followers. This might be the first video, might be the last, might be the only ever. Or perhaps you are somebody that is potentially interested in working with us. Or perhaps you are a person who enjoys construction, remodeling type videos and appreciates something that is uncut, unedited, straight from a camera, as simple as it is. On my end, it's just an update on a project that we are currently working on. We're probably about a week or so away from finishing up this project. I love what I do and enjoy doing it for people that appreciate attention to detail. I get very involved in our projects. I treat each home as if it is my own home. And in this particular case, all of the above applies. The relationship between myself and the client has been fantastic. Attention to detail everywhere. And this certainly is an older home in which I love the trim, carpentry, details of an older home, and always look to remodel in such a way to keep older homes, to retain its older characteristics. So without any further ado, let's come inside and take a quick look at how this project is coming along. And like I said, we've got about a week or so left in this project, some punch list type things to do. And let's go ahead and go inside. So this started out as a kitchen project, and we still refer to this as a kitchen project, but it is certainly not a kitchen project. It started out as a kitchen project, turned into a heck of a lot more. It really is an entire first floor remodel. These floors are 100 years old, and so we're kind of doing this backwards. The project started in the back with the kitchen. We're going to do this in reverse order. We are going to start with sort of what we're currently doing right now and back all the way up to the kitchen, which was the initiator of this project. These floors are 100 years old, and we had some patchwork to do in the back, so we had to get some of the floor refinished. That turned into the client saying, "Hey, Victor, let's get the entire first floor hardwoods refinished." As you can see, they look fantastic. And that was actually the second to last thing. After making the decision to redo these hardwood floors, the client said, "Hey, now that we've got everything out in the pod, let's go ahead and repaint the entire first floor." So that's what we're in the middle of doing now, finishing the repainting of this first floor. And yeah, so let's take a walk through. We've got some little punch list items to do, little stickers, little areas that we have to kind of touch up. And so taking a walk over to the dining room and walking back into the kitchen. So this was the initiator of the entire project. And this kitchen, there was a wall that went straight across there. This part of the kitchen is protruding into what was the dining room, still is the dining room, but the wall was here and came sort of right here, as you can see. Wall came straight across, and you can see how much more we are extended the kitchen into that area there. This kitchen was in this back corner, and there were two doors. So there was this entry door here into the kitchen, wall straight across, and there was another door right here-ish to get over to the dining room. How this project started was maybe removing that wall, but originally it was just remodel the kitchen within this space. Upon the first meeting with the client, I'm here in this space. That window existed. The original sink was right there. there was a large window right here, and the window wasn't exactly here. The window was maybe here-ish. And upon that first meeting with the client, we're standing inside this small, tiny, cramped kitchen. Just imagine everything in this little area right here that, you know, again, some of that fridge is already in the dining room. So just imagine everything in here, including a small little table that they had over by that window to kind of eat. And upon that first meeting, I just happened to look over at that window, and the client said, "Victor, we're not touching that window. That window is not moving." And I explained to the customer, I said, "Hey, no problem at all. If you don't want that window to be gone, we will not touch that window. I'm not even sure that I want to touch the window." But I explained to them, I would only be a good contractor if I challenged all of your thoughts for two reasons. One, so that I'm reassured that your initial or current thoughts are exactly what we want to go with. Two, by challenging you, we will get to the point where we may or may not consider something that you have not considered. So, sure enough, a week later, we revisited. I gave them a couple of ideas, and for sure, the client went from "we're not touching that window" to a super excited about removing that window. The reason why they didn't want to get rid of the window is they love natural light, which I do as well. But I knew, you can see here, and today is a somewhat sunny day. It rained yesterday, and so I would say that today is maybe partly cloudy. And you can see that there is plenty of light coming into the area. There would be more light on a full sunny day. So the remaining windows, along with the lighting that we added, by the way, these lights are on dimmers, and right now they are at about 50 to 60%. I dimmed them down for the video, for the purposes of video. And as you can see, there is plenty of light here. So a sunnier day would have even more light, and bringing the lights to 100% would it'd actually be too much light. So there's plenty of light. Customer was super excited about removing the window. The window is gone, so that obviously meant not only removing the window on the interior, but also on the exterior as well. So there is all brand new siding in the back to match their current siding. If you were to go outside, it is seamless. It looks like there was never a window there. Some cool things about the kitchen. The island is absolutely awesome. In these older homes, it's very difficult to get a traditional island like you see nowadays. The space just doesn't always work, or it would be a very tiny island. So we had a wish list of things that we talked about at the beginning of the project, and I'm happy to say that we were able to get almost every single wish list that the client wanted into this kitchen. So this is a 4-seater. It's a little unconventional. It's kind of island-ish, kind of peninsula-ish, with it being up against the wall. And there will be 2 seats on this side. There will be 2 seats on this side. I would refer to this as a 3 3/4 seater. And the reason why I say it sits 3 3/4 is because on this side here, there will be 2 chairs, 2 stools, just like on that side. But it is just a hair tight, which is totally okay for the size of this family. On this side here, you'll see that we wrapped the corner. Believe it or not, the combination of those extra 3 inches right there, and the fact that you have a little extra elbow room off of the edge and off of the edge there, makes this super comfortable for 2 people. On the opposite side, a third person, super comfortable if a 4th person needs to be at the island, which for this family will hardly ever be the case, number 1. And number 2, keep in mind that right over here will be a nice, good-sized dining room table. If they get into a situation of 4 or more, they simply head over to the dining room table. So that one right there will be a seat, probably hardly ever used. It is a very comfortable 3-seater, and there's a 4th seat when needed. This island, part of the details that we have to finish up is baseboard, matching baseboard going right across here. There will be 2 decorative doors. That is a cabinet right over there. And there will be 2 decorative doors right over here. So this entire piece will be wrapped and will look like a furniture piece. Coming over, we've got the microwave. Everything is functioning. The customer will be using this kitchen this week. So there is your microwave. This cabinet was not a microwave cabinet. This actually was a 3-drawer cabinet. 1, 2, 3 drawers. We modified the cabinet to accept this microwave. This beverage fridge right here is not considered a under cabinet beverage fridge. This is more of a regular beverage fridge that you would place anywhere in the house. And without getting into crazy detail as to what differentiates between a legit under cabinet beverage fridge and a regular beverage fridge like this one, one of the major differences is the toe kick. Under cabinet beverage fridges normally come with the toe kick already built in, where this particular fridge is actually just meant to go on the floor. But the client already had this fridge, so no worries. We worked with it and made it look like it is built in, meant to be, by lifting it up off the floor, creating a toe kick type of situation, making it flush with the microwave. Let's close that back up. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. See, I told you that this video would not be edited. Let's close that back up and let's close that. So we've got a flush situation, a fridge that now looks like it is a built-in. The door originally opened up from that side. We flipped the door around to open up here on this side. So that is the island. Let's see, what else can we talk about that's pretty cool? Oh, okay. So let's talk about demo. I enjoy the demo process. The demo process is the very, very first thing that happens at a job, and sometimes certain contractors will sub out the demo work. By the way, this obviously still needs to be painted. We had some paint left over and didn't want it to go to waste. So we simply just rolled out these walls, but this all needs to get cut in and it's gonna look fantastic as soon as we finish it. Same thing with this, the bottom piece here is already done underneath the chair rail. That's already painted and done. And we just need to finish cutting all of that in. Where were we? We were talking about demo. So I sometimes have clients that say, hey, Victor, we will demo the project for you. We'll get it ready. Or there are contractors that sub out the demo part and then come in and start doing the install. I love demo. I prefer to do the demo. Very rarely am I okay with having anybody else come in and do the demo. And or the client do the demo for lots of reasons. I will not get into those reasons here, but I will give just one example. During the demo of this wall, I saved every piece of molding. The trim work in here is 100 years old, original to the house. And I love for that to be part of the story for the customer and the house. I love to preserve the history of the house whenever possible and keep things within character. So the before and after pictures on this job will be awesome. There were these tiny cabinets. The cabinets came to about here and came right across the top of that window. So there was no header. There wasn't even this particular molding was here, not that exact molding, but that similar molding was there, but it was cut lower. The woodwork that you see here, which matches this door. So you see this door here, that is original to the house, has been here for 100 years. That trim work right there was repurposed from the demo of this room, came from another door. That trim was different size. We saved it, repurposed it, cut it to size to make this window look like it's been here forever. It looks fantastic. It matches the doorway here, the doorway there, all of the doorways. Speaking of which, let's come over to the hutch. So this built-in hutch, which has got a beautiful door, 2 doors at the bottom, 1 door, glass door up at the top that is getting redone and will be put back on. However, one of the things that I noticed, original to the house, is that this header was not there. The top of the hutch ended right here at that molding, right there. And it looked odd to me. I kind of questioned whether there was anything there prior and why it was that there wasn't anything above. So again, that header that you see, this piece and that piece, came from the demo of the rest of that room, was repurposed, trimmed out, put up there, and now we've got a header that matches all of the other doors, including this doorway right there. In my opinion, I think that looks so much better. And this hutch was actually part of the design process. When deciding to open this up, we used a line right here, a visual line here, as what was going to be the new kitchen. One of the things I noticed is the width to the right of that entryway and the width of the entryway there. Basically, this entryway is centered from here to there. So that became the divider, if you will. Right here is what we decided, hey, let's extend the kitchen into here. And this light was moved. So this light was originally here because, again, the wall was here. So center of the room was this way. But by making this here part of the kitchen, coming back over this way, taking that light and centering it right on this doorway. Let me see if I can get the right angle there. There we go. Dining room table will now be centered according to this entryway. The light, which shifts everything over this way, which now gives us the ability to have a much, much larger kitchen. Let's see, some other details. The man of the house, the husband, he believes that there are only 1 or 2 items that he got here in this kitchen. And actually that was a very enjoyable part of the process. And he is kidding himself if he believes that he only got 1 item in this kitchen. He got a lot, but so did the missus. And that is a very enjoyable part of the process, is listening to both sides and getting things that both will be proud of. The beverage fridge was a 100% him. He picked out the sink. And over in this section right here, he is going to have his espresso area. By the way, we are not done with this kitchen. Obviously, like I said, we've got about another week or so. And a couple of things that are going to happen is there's going to be crown molding all the way to the ceiling, 2-piece crown molding. So there'll be a riser that will bring us close to the ceiling, and then the crown will finish up at the top, right up to the ceiling. I'll actually bring that point back up in a second. I'll talk about the ceiling. And we also have a really nice tile backsplash that I think will be perfect combination of new, matches today's lifestyle, but still will work with a home with this type of character. So that'll be a 2-day project, installing that backsplash, and that will happen within this week. So back to his wishes. There's an additional item that is still up for discussion that is going right there. If you could see my face, you'd be laughing. You'd be smiling with me. You'd know something is up, because I say up for discussion. If you were to talk to the husband, he will say it's not up for discussion, it's going in. If you were to talk to the missus, the wife, she will say, well, we're still talking about that. So that is that. The missus, she is like overwhelmed in a positive way. She's overjoyed with, she doesn't even know, like, all this cabinet space. These are extra tall cabinets. By the way, we've got a custom hood range that is going to come in right here. She didn't have a dishwasher in her tiny kitchen. She now has a dishwasher. Functionality wise, this works out really, really well. So this is your work area / cleanup area. Anything that you need to do in terms of cleanup is all going to be right here. Organization, things will come out of the dishwasher and or the sink. Utensils will go right in there. You've got your cooking area here, and then this is your everyday area. So literally things right out of the fridge, reheat, make a quick breakfast, whatever. Cereals will come out of there. Reheat food, make something quick, make a sandwich. Boom, you are literally here, you are here, you are here, you are here. And all of this can be happening while people are eating there or people are eating here. You will not be in anybody's way. So to get all of these features, all of these concepts here in an older home with, you know, what I want to refer to as odd sizes nowadays. Spaces are different. In the older days, closets were smaller, kitchens were smaller, everything was just different. So to get all of these modern features into this house is just awesome. But let's get back to the missus. So the missus is overjoyed with all of this cabinetry, the dishwasher, big farmer sink, cooking area, this concept that we just talked about right here. Sit at the island, have a quick bite to eat. If you want something more formal, you're literally a couple of steps away from a nice dining room table, which they already bought, is outside in the pod, will be brought in this week. Now let's talk about what she was super excited about. She absolutely wanted a pantry, and at one point she mentioned this idea to me that she saw on Pinterest, I believe, or Instagram, and I'm very familiar with this. I'm very familiar with all of these concepts. And I will, going forward, be calling this the teacher cabinet. So it's this small little cabinet that is right here, super thin cabinet that you open from this side. And she said to me, Victor, I'm super excited. I want like a corkboard up there. I want to put like my Post-it notes and organize my mail and like keys. And that is my cabinet. And so she's super, super excited about that cabinet. In order to make that work, we bumped this out 1.5 inches. As you can see, we've got the trim work that comes in here. So in order for this cabinet to work, doors to open, and again, these are details that we went through, that I double checked, triple checked, drove down to the appliance place and got physical measurements, not PDF measurements, physical measurements. Wanted to see how the doors were going to open on the fridge. So all of the cabinetry was installed in such a way that made sense to the fridge. Speaking of which, later today, probably when we're done with the fridge, with this video, we will be working on this fridge and giving it its final adjustments. As you can see here, right now, the fridge is kind of tilted this way. Fridges always want to be at very minimum level, I should say plumb, not level, plumb, perpendicular, or they want to be slightly tilted back. The fridge was just delivered today. Now that the fridge is here, we're also going to add a small little trim piece right up here, going right across to make it look that much more built in. That's going to look fantastic. It's something I mentioned to the customer. Customer said, hey, Victor, I don't know, we're not stressed about that little gap. But I know that once we put that little filler piece right in there, it's just going to look fantastic and they will appreciate it. So what else? Let's come over to, again, so let's go back to the concept of this. Started out as just a kitchen. It turned into an entire first floor. So there's this little half bath here. And let's talk about this door. This door is awesome. I absolutely love this door. Why do I love this door? Because it literally is the cheapest of doors. There's a lot of history behind this particular bathroom, and this was an enjoyable part of the process. The customer enjoyed learning more about the house. I enjoyed teaching them, or I say teaching them, but filling them in on the history of the house based upon the demo. And what I was doing, and it all matched up to some things that they already knew about the house. And I was able to piece things together for them. So this door, what's the deal with this door? So this bathroom was probably remodeled I don't know, I'm gonna say it probably remodeled in the 60s, I'm going to guess. And as a matter of fact, let's come back over here and check this out. So this was something that during the demo we found in the ceiling. Whoever worked on this house, there is the date, Providence Journal, Wednesday, August 27th, 1975. So in a few weeks, this newspaper will be exactly 50 years old. The entire newspaper is here, as you can see. There is a sports section in here with stats, and that's pretty cool. And that was found right up here, tucked in the corner. However, 1975 was not the date that this kitchen was remodeled. This kitchen was remodeled actually in 1960, April 27th. I'm sorry, not the 27th. I'm getting confused with this 27th. April 23rd of 1960 was when Al Sheely remodeled this little tiny kitchen. How do we know that? Because during the demo, we have a picture of one of the top of the cabinets in which Al Sheely, God rest his soul, nobody knows him. We just know that he is the one that remodeled because he autographed, signed the top of one of the cabinets April 23rd, 1960. So 1960 was when this kitchen was remodeled. 1975 must have been when they remodeled the bathroom up above, and they kind of tucked that newspaper from up above in the floor, and we found it during the gutting of this ceiling. Back to this door. So this here is what the door looks like. Now, I finished that literally maybe 10, 15 minutes ago. Here's what this door really is. It's literally the cheesiest of doors. It's a hollow core, flat door. I know that the customer mentioned that they are looking for, here is what their doors look like. That is a door that goes there, and that door is just waiting to be refinished. We're gonna sand this down and repaint it. And that is original to the house, and they will, at some point, they have somewhere on their to-do list, they would like to find a door. They recently found a door that was close. I know that in the real world, in everyday life, we all have wishes that sometimes we don't get to. So this was just a little added touch. I did not tell the customer. I just did it, added that little detail to the door so that, and we've got a handle that will be installed probably today. Added that little detail so that in the meantime, everything kind of matches, works with the character of the house. Speaking of this bathroom, not sure if that fan is too loud. Speaking of the bathroom, so this was the bathroom. A couple things going on in this bathroom here. So the first thing is when the customer, again, quote unquote, kitchen project, decided, hey, while we're at it, can we do that small little half bath? Sure. This sink was here. The sink was here, and there was a regular, for lack of better words, cheesy faucet that was old. It was starting to get corroded. It was original. It was already here when the customer bought the house. And along with it being corroded, some of the corrosion was, on the sink. But the sink was here, and the customer said, so yeah, let's redo the bathroom. Victor, what are we going to do? We need to find a small little sink to go there. And I immediately looked at him and said, no, you don't. That's the sink that you're going to keep. That sink is perfect. And my guess is, again, that it's been here probably since the 60s. My guess is when they remodeled the bathroom, they also remodeled, when they remodeled the kitchen is when they added this bathroom. And I'll explain in a second what this bathroom originally was. This bathroom was never here. And so that's probably a sink from the 60s, and I love the sink. And really all it needed was, it needed a new faucet. It just needed to be cleaned up to bring back its shine. And we purposely did the plumbing such that it's all exposed to have that old school look. We already have this area here wired for a small little light that is going to match that faucet, and it's going to look really, really cool. It's going to tie it all in together, and the customer is currently looking at a small little hand towel holder and potentially something that will go there, some sort of decor type of storage and or mirror, whatever it is that the customer wanted. Another interesting thing about this, there's two other interesting things about this bathroom. So you'll see sort of this opening, random opening in the ceiling. So there was actually a soffit, if you will, that came down, came across. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was actually lower. I forget now for when we demoed it. It was actually lower than the door itself. And these people, there is both the husband and the son that live here are very, very tall people. And forever, they've been using this bathroom and ducking to get to the toilet. And it just kind of was understood that there was something there that was important and it needed to be there. Well, I was able to poke around, poke around, and explain to the customer that at some point way back, prior to 1960, when they remodeled this kitchen, there must have been a stove right here with a vent, ductwork that came out of the stove, went across right through here and tied into the chimney area. At some point that was removed. Also, an additional item, which is a really, really cool item if you're watching this, if you're still here, we're on like over a half hour. You may have seen a post of a hidden door, and that's where the hidden door was and still is as of right now. So basically, this at some point was a closet, and the closet came across here. The door was right there, accessible from this area right over here. And the door till this day, we've got a picture of it, the door till this day still exists there. We decided, the client, myself, the client decided that'd be a great idea to take a picture of it. We signed it, we dated it, and left the door right in there. It's a little hidden treasure for somebody to find someday. Going back to all of that, I was able to poke around and realize that we could get rid of all of this. The customer is amazed that for all of these years they've been walking in, especially the husband and the son, ducking to get into the bathroom. They now have full height, and I could have come straight across with the ceiling and tie it right into there, but I did not for two reasons. One, because that, even though serves no purpose, but that extra space just makes you feel less claustrophobic going in there. And then also it just adds to the character and the story of the house. If anybody was to ever question or ask, they could bring up the story of the door and how this used to be a closet that opened up from that direction. All sorts of other little things that we did. This needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but we patched in that flooring right there. We did a little shape right here, so that's all brand new hardwood. We did a little shape to kind of match what you see here. It's kind of throughout the house, you'll see these designs in the hardwood flooring. So we did the same thing there. Right here is hardwood flooring that we patched in. It will take a few years for this flooring to patina and look like the older flooring. And I think the last thing we'll talk about is the ceiling. I mean, there's so many things that we could talk about. Again, I take a lot of pride in the projects that I do, and really treat each project as if it were my own home, and I want the customer to have something that they're not only is going to be very functional and useful and new to them, but also have a connection to their house. So that is kind of the situation here, not kind of, for sure. And it's been a wonderful experience. The customers appreciated all of there's some additional items that we found during demo that they have kept as mementos. But getting back to another thing that we did here was, anybody that knows anything about older homes, first of all, even in new construction, nothing is ever perfectly parallel, perfectly plumb, perfectly straight. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And even when it does initially happen, things expand and contract. Wood expands and contracts, materials do, and therefore things move. The earth moves, everything moves. But in a 100-year-old home, by the way, this ceiling, these original walls here, this is all old horsehair plaster. That's actually in great shape, and we preserved it all. This here was all gutted, all brand new. This is all brand new drywall. All of this is brand new. We did a really nice insulation. My preferred type of insulation was done here. Getting back to ceiling and things settling. That ceiling is not perfectly level. It's not perfectly straight. Neither was this one here. In order for crown molding, because the decision was made that they preferred to have crown molding all the way to the ceiling, in order to have the crown molding and make it look good, where the crown molding touches the ceiling, it needs to be perfectly straight. So we had a situation in which, first of all, this ceiling had been done in layers. So this ceiling was lower than that ceiling in that room. And neither that ceiling nor this ceiling, again, two separate rooms, were straight and level. So we had a situation in which we need to get crown molding that needs to be perfectly straight. We've got a ceiling here that is not at the same height. It is not on plane with that ceiling, and we need to make it look all cohesive and as one. So this ceiling, we found the lowest point on the ceiling here, lasered it all throughout the perimeter. This is laser straight and brand new drywall. From a perfectly lasered perimeter, we then incrementally let the ceiling dip to match this ceiling, which again, brand new drywall, old horsehair plaster. This is where the wall is. That's where the seam would have been. As you can see, no visible seam. And from a perfectly lasered straight ceiling at the perimeter, letting that slowly incrementally match up with a ceiling here that is not level. Make it look seamless and like it's always been here. So I don't know if you're still with me. We're probably close to an hour at this point. If you are, you are awesome. I love you and I appreciate you. And if you're not, that's okay as well. Hopefully you appreciate the attention to detail, my relationship with not only the project itself, but also with my customers. And that is the end goal. The end goal is wake up, do something that you love, and do it for people that appreciate what you do. Thank you so much. And if you are interested in any kind of project at your home, kitchens right now is what we've been doing. We're finishing up this kitchen. We've got another kitchen on the books to start immediately as soon as we finish this one. We've got several small projects. We always have a list of small side projects that people want us to do and are totally okay with us fitting it into our schedule on either down days, days of inclement weather, when we can't cut outside. There's always reasons for having a down day here and there. But yeah, anything interior. And like I said, kitchens lately has been something that this is our third kitchen in a row. We've got an additional kitchen to do after this already in the books, and another couple of potential kitchens. Thank you again, and maybe we'll see you again. I'm not sure. Will there be another video? Maybe not. I'm not even sure if I'm going to post this video, to be honest with you.